What's up? So who we got in the house? I only saw one person waiting. Hello, hello. Anyone there? Let me see. I gotta figure out who it is. What's up, Jack? Hola. Jack, you might be the only one, dude. That ain't gonna stop us. Hold on, I'm gonna click over. Let me see if I can see. What's up, buddy? Hey, what just did you still see me for the last few seconds, or did it like switch off? Because I switched screens on my phone. I'm wondering if it kept the live going. Did you see me that whole time? I was just kind of playing with my phone. My internet is acting up, so it may take a minute. Okay. All right, Jack, I hear you. Glitches out for a minute or two. Now I'm back. All right. I'm just gonna wait a couple minutes. I, for some reason, did not. I must have just accidentally. How you doing, Jack? What's new? How's your week going? Or how was your week? It's Friday. Pretty good, nothing too harsh. Right on, right on. Eric Diaz, my internet is acting up and it's not loading. Okay. You still been working out, Jack? How the workout's going? There we go. What's up, Eric? Yeah, good. We mainly go after baseball. Right on, Jack. Feeling good? Nice. It looks like hopefully the rain holds up. We can actually get on the field on Sunday. That'll be nice. Eric and Jack, are you guys going to be good for a Sunday workout? Thinking it'll be in the morning this time, because the baseball academy camp should be its usual 12 o'clock noon. So we can probably squeeze in a 10. What did we do the first time? I'm trying to shoot for like, actually maybe even 9:30 if that's not too early for guys. Yeah, you're good. I forgot to let you know last week, but we're heading to Disneyland Sunday morning. No worries, dude. You have fun with your family, man. It's an important thing to enjoy your family time. See, that's the thing, Eric. You know, the good thing is I will be here when you get back. Shoot for next Sunday. So I'm just giving Caleb another minute or two, see if. All right, Eric, how you been doing? You still lifting with your dad and stuff? Oh, Caleb can't. Okay. Yeah, I just sent him a text. I'm not sure. Haven't heard a response from him yet. Okay, so we'll get going in just a second. I'm just typing something up real quick. 90%. Do you guys have any questions about anything so far, or before we start? Yeah, you guys right. There's a bit of a delay, huh? How long is the camp after practice? So the camp after practice goes from, it's like 4.5 hours. So typically it goes from noon to 4:30. Do you know any stretches I should do for my elbow? Yes, I do. I probably will look. I will get you some stretches. I'm gonna look them up to confirm them, because I haven't done them in a while. But I remember doing stretches when I had my tendonitis. So I will actually look that up for you and then get some just to confirm. You hear me, Eric? Let's see. Golfer's elbow. Yep. You got it, buddy. And then I'm going to eventually get... okay, that's right. Both your has elbows. That's right. And now both of your... you can give me a thumbs up or yes. Is it in the inside of your forearm? Or both of you guys? Interior, but it's getting better. Okay. Same. Yeah, I would say then this weekend, did it get better or worse after you guys threw last weekend, last Sunday? Like, let's say from the beginning of the throwing to the end, did it worsen? Like, did it get tighter after you threw or during? Better, felt looser. Okay. I did actually speak with my friend that is she's the head trainer at Dominican University. So she recently just got hired, actually. So let's see, it felt way better on Sunday when we threw, but remember when I backed up a little too far and threw, it started to hurt. Yeah. Okay, Eric. Yeah, so I'll get you some stretches and then and some tips on like actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna reach out to my friend that I was just talking about, and I'm gonna see if she can send me over some stretches for you guys. And like I said, she's the head trainer at Dominican University. So she's worked with the Vallejo Admirals too, the independent baseball team. So she is very familiar with baseball players and the common injuries and stuff. So I'm gonna reach out to her and see if she can send me over some information, and then I will share that with you guys. And then one of these days, I spoke with her about doing so on Instagram we can do a split screen where I can actually, maybe you guys know this already, but you can invite somebody to have you would be able to see me and her, and you guys would basically be just like this, except you'd see both of us, and we could actually, her and I can have a conversation. I can have questions that you might have, or you can ask them through Instagram in real time. So I think that would be kind of cool. So if you guys haven't, I think you guys are both on the Instagram, so that's good. So just keep an eye out for that, and I'm gonna try and post more stuff on there too. where I'll kind of mix it up a little bit, where there'll be baseball, there'll be some health, everything that is kind of part of this program, and little quotes and stuff like that, cool stuff. So, okay, so I made note of that, and then I am going to go and talk to my friend afterwards. I'm gonna make a note, talk to Karika about golfers elbow, because I'm thinking that's kind of what you guys have. That's what I had when I was 1 year in pro ball, a couple of years actually, a couple times I had it. Talk to Karika about golfer's elbow. Okay. All right. So what I decided to do for these YouTube lives is that I want to have. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Cool. What I decided that we're going to do for the Instagram lives is that I'm going to create a theme or like a topic that we're going to talk about in general, or at least if it's something new, then it'll be an introduction of it, and then we will come back to it later on when we're in person. Maybe down the road, future lives, we'll get into greater detail, or it'll be a digital content that you can download off of the website, right? But so like for this one, for example, I decided to share with you guys some of the mental training skills that were taught to me back when I first started, when I was in pro ball with the Rockies. Unfortunately, I didn't actually adopt these skills and really use these skills to to maximize my performance. I did here and there, and I just wasn't, and it worked. They worked, and it wasn't, but I wasn't consistent with it. I kind of gave up on it, and I kind of downplayed it. So I want to talk to you guys about that a little bit. Do you guys have any idea what a mental skills or a mental skills coach does, or what a mental skill is? That was kind of confusing. Do you know? It's a long delay. Do you guys know what a mental skill is? Or take a guess? I haven't heard of any mental skills. Cool. Okay, Eric, no. What about you, Jack? Not really. I didn't think so, because neither did I in high school. So this was something that I didn't even know existed until I got into pro ball. And they're like, yeah, we have this guy's coming to speak with us, and he's a mental skills coach. And I'm like, what the heck is a mental skills coach? So anyways, this guy, he comes in, he introduces himself, and he's like a former minor leaguer, I think he was, or something like that. But he had gotten into psychology after his playing career and decided to make a career out of it, and went through the ranks, got his degree, and I don't remember exact details, but I do know that he became educated in psychology, kind of like what I'm doing now. And what he does is he comes in to teams. In this particular case, he was hired, he had a position with the Colorado Rockies as a mental skills coach. And what they do is they come in and basically they work with players on the mental side of the game. And they teach them skills that can help with their motivation, with their basically to maximize their performance, right? From a mental standpoint. And as I mentioned with you guys that I think here and there I've thrown little tidbits at you, but it's the mental side of the game. It's your mindset that makes you do anything and everything in your life, right? I mean, it's your mind controls your decisions, right? Your mind controls your actions. Even just being on this YouTube live, you had to use your mind to get here, right? Obviously very limited. But anyways, the point is that all athletes are human beings too, okay? And we are emotional, right? We feel fear, we feel anxiety, we feel pressure, and all of these things, all of those feelings, those emotions, there are actually skills that you can develop that can help minimize those in times of, pressure situations in games. Many of the sports psychologists are used very much in baseball, of course, but like especially with Olympic athletes. So Olympic athletes, let's say like Michael Phelps, for example, he was really big, worked with a sports psychologist, and with his, getting in the zone and getting in the right state of mind to be able to perform, especially in the Olympics when it's like it's every 4 years, and you have to perform after 4 years of training. You have to perform at your very best, like basically on the spot, right? So it can create a lot of pressure, a lot of nervousness, anxiety. So that's what a mental skills coach does, like in a nutshell. So I don't know, do you have any questions about that? I'm going to talk about some general stuff in a minute. Does that sound kind of cool? Nope, I'm good. About you, Jack? Anything? Sounds cool? So many coaches, or at least the saying going around, it's pretty popular in baseball, is they say that, yeah, sounds cool. When did you learn about the coach or use it? So that was back in 2007, and I was a very emotional player. I was very mentally strong when it came to like strength training and like diet and nutrition. So I was very disciplined in those areas. My biggest drawback was being able to control my emotions on the field. If I had a bad at bat or a couple bad at bats or a really bad game or made an error in the field, I showed my frustration. I showed how angry and upset I was with myself. And ultimately those thoughts will then snowball into my next, or carry over into my next at bat, right? Or if it's in a bad at bat, it carries over into my defense. And if I'm on defense in the outfield thinking about my at bat and how upset I am, I'm not going to get as good of a jump, right? Or there may be guys on base, and I'm so distracted by my previous at bat and my own frustration that I forget what base to throw to, right? Maybe I throw to the wrong guy, or I overthrow the cutoff or something. I make a mistake that costs us a run, and we end up losing the game by 1 run, right? So it's game changing. It can lead to a game changing scenario, right? If you're constantly essentially worried about the past. So as these little mini failures come into play during the course of a baseball game and your season and your career, it's very important to learn these skills as early as possible, to then be able to learn how to overcome them, and which is what's going to separate you from everyone else. These skills are not taught at your level. Which is why you don't know of them. I had to get into professional baseball before I was introduced to any of this stuff, which is it's crazy. And that's kind of why I decided to take this route with training, and to do like this part of the program with the live, so that we can get together and talk about this stuff, because it is incredibly valuable, and not only just in baseball but in life. Like, so in school, eventually, if you choose a career path after school, if it's nothing related to baseball, these skills are universal. They will apply to anything and everything that you do in your life. So one of the common sayings was that baseball is 90% mental and 10% physical. I agree. Yeah, of course, there is a physical component, right? But this is me adding my portion to this, but that first 90% actually controls the other 10, right? So if you don't have that 90, then you don't have that other 10. Does that make sense? That other 10 that's physical takes your mind to discipline your body to then perform on the physical side. So essentially, it may be 90-10, but it's 100% mental. Let me know if that makes sense. Cool, Jack. Thumbs up. Cool. So some of the things are, so apparently nowadays, I just found out, so 26 of the 30 major league teams employ sports psychologists or mental skills coaches. So I'm surprised that, I wonder what the other 4 teams are that aren't doing that. It'd be interesting to see if they were at the bottom of their standings. But so here are some of the things that like you can use mental skills for, right? So like tuning out the crowd noise. Granted, now you're in high school, we don't have like 50,000 people in the stands, but in some ways it can be even worse, the fewer people, because you hear individual voices in the stands. You can hear your parents, you can hear your friends or family members, or even little hecklers on the other team, right? Kind of giving you a hard time. So in a sense, smaller crowds can be just as bad, if not worse. But the trick is that it is all in your head, right? So if you are paying attention to them, you allow them into your mind. And if you let them affect you, then you will affect your performance. So tuning out the crowd is one thing that there are skills that you can learn to do that, right? Then let's say, so like making productive outs instead of giving away at bats for selfish reasons. So if you're going up there and you're thinking home run all the time, and you're not playing to the situation of the game, right? Also getting on base. This is baseball. It's a team sport, so getting on base is your number one objective, to get on base. If you are the cleanup guy, you're the star player, then there will be times when the coach gives you that green light, and it's just do your thing, man. But for the most part, it's being the team player and knowing the right times to go for home runs, and the right times that maybe you just need a ground ball the other way. Maybe you just need to put the ball in play. Maybe we just need a sac fly and not a home run. Okay, so being aware of the game is a big part of that too. Like I said, making productive outs, which is essentially having quality at bats. Okay, because you've probably heard this before. Even a great player fails 3 out of 10. Oh, I'm sorry, 7 out of 10 times. They can make 3 hits out of 10. It's batting 300. And then of course the failing. So baseball is a game of failure. There's so much failure going on in baseball, it can become very overwhelming for some players, which will ultimately get us into a slump. If we focus on the 7 out of 10 that we're making outs, you're going to forget about the 3, and you're going to make that 7 out of 10 grow to possibly 8, to possibly 9, to possibly going 0 for 10 or 0 for 20. And then you're in a big hole, and then you really got to hit yourself out. So always staying positive and looking for the positive in every situation is a mental skill in itself. So a 2-strike approach to life. So hitters with 2 strikes, when you have 2 strikes on you, you hardly ever actually get the pitch that you want, right? Because you're no longer in the driver's seat. You're not in a hitter's count. So what some of the mental skills coaches, try to teach players and coach players is to take whatever comes their way and to make the best of it. Because once you get to 2 strikes, and let's say it's 0-2, 1-2, like I said, you're no longer in the driver's seat. So now you have the disadvantage, even a greater disadvantage than with an 0-0 count or in a hitter's count. So now you have to protect, right? And you have to shorten up your swing or do, protect the plate, know the zone, all these types of things to try and, battle through that at bat to try and make a productive out. And then another thing is that most guys forget to do is to love the game. You have to maintain your love for the game and keep having fun. When you get into the higher levels, and even now, because there's a lot at stake now, right? Guys are shooting for scholarships. There's money involved. You might not be professional, but eventually in a couple of years, you guys are going to be having schools offer you money, offer obviously scholars in the form of scholarships. So it can place a lot of additional pressure on you. So being aware of this can help you minimize the pressure, and kind of go back to in your head, hey man, this is just a game. Let's have some fun. And we all know we play best when we're having fun. So, so some of the mental skills, or first, before I get into the mental skills themselves, do you guys have any questions? Nope. Okay. What about you, Jack? Anything? Oh, here's a tip too for on the YouTube. So if a question comes to you and maybe I'm yapping away, type it into your send, the little send area, and then just don't hit send. And then if you have multiple questions and I'm still yapping, type that in too, and then you can just send them both together. I was wondering, because in 2 weeks we have our high school tryout. Do you think, not this weekend, but next week we're gonna do something like that? Something like what? Something like what? Like a simulation of a tryout, or talk to us how really. Yes, we can definitely do that, Jack. And that is something that I definitely had in mind, that we were going to kind of simulate tryouts, showcases, stuff like that, where you're limited on you're gonna have to do the 60. You're gonna have to throw to the bases, or do ground balls if you're an infielder, and throw to first. Throws from the outfield if you're an outfielder, and then you'd go into facing live. So hopefully in time, if we get work on getting, it'd be nice to have a catcher. I think Eric, you might catch. So we can always eventually, when we get the group a little bit bigger, more players, we can and then incorporate some pitchers. We can get some guys to throw live, so they can get work in facing live hitters, and hitters can also obviously get at bats, and we can do that at some point. So, and then, like I was saying, if you have questions and I'm talking, just go ahead and type them into your little message bar, and then just wait. And then when I pause, you just go ahead and hit send, or actually just hit send whenever. So I'm gonna go over some of the mental skills, and we'll try and keep this under an hour. No, it's Friday night. Let you guys go have some fun or something, or spend it with the family. So one mental skill is to choose and maintain a positive attitude. So, and what you're going to realize is, with these mental skills, they're all things that are controllable. Okay, and that's another thing that we will touch on, is controlling the things that you can control. There's a lot that happens in baseball that you cannot control. There's a lot that happens in life that you cannot control. There's a large percentage of your life is uncontrollable. You will not have control over it. Therefore, it makes no sense to waste our time, our energy, our frustration, our anger, all our emotions on things that we cannot control. If you waste your time focusing on those, you're missing out on the positive, on the good results that you could be getting, right? Or working toward a particular goal. So for example, a strikeout, right? Obviously nobody wants to strike out, but once you have struck out, it is over. The more you think about that previous strikeout in a negative way, the more your effect you're going to have on your next at bat. You're placing more and more pressure on yourself because you're dwelling on the previous at bat, right? Or same thing with an error in the field. You may be frustrated with a previous error you made in the field, and you hang on to that for the next couple pitches or the next couple hitters. You're going to get another ball hit to you, and more likely to miss it because you're thinking about the previous one. You see, so staying positive, being able to fail and recover from it in a positive way, whether it be I failed because I struck out because this guy threw me a really good curveball in the dirt with an 0-2 count, and I swung at it. Now you know. You don't need to necessarily forget it right away. You just need to say, okay, well, what can I learn from that? If I face this guy again, and if I get in the hole again, what's he probably going to throw me? All right, so that's a more proactive way of thinking. Okay, so you're becoming now a student of the game when you think that way, and you're going to become more successful because you're not letting your emotions get in the way. You struck out, it's over. What can I learn from it to propel me, to give me an advantage that next at bat? Because see, the next at bat, that same pitcher, if you're facing the same pitcher, he's going to think he's going to get you out on that curveball in the dirt. He's going to remember. Will you remember? Because if you don't remember, he's going to get you again. So each future at bat can be affected by your thought process and how you, whether you're thinking negatively or positively of that at bat. Another one, number 2, is maintain a high level of intrinsic motivation. Now, intrinsic motivation is internal motivation. So it's very tempting, and we are human. I used to do this myself. We use external forces to motivate us. So maybe it's to make the major leagues, become famous, to have money, cars, anything that is even a trophy is external. It's not intrinsic. So intrinsic is internal, right? Is to do it for yourself, or maybe it's for even for a loved one, or you want to make somebody proud. So something that is a little deeper than just the trophy itself, right? So that's why we'll talk over time, is for you guys to learn that it's not the external motivation is basically temporary, is what I was trying to say. And internal motivation can last you a lifetime. So when you get to the point where you are motivated by your own internal desire to be better, that is internal. And that will never go away, okay? So let's see, next one would be set high but realistic goals. So goal setting, right? If you don't set goals or have a vision of what you want or where you want to go, how will you ever get there, right? It is a habit of successful people, right? All the successful people in the world have always set goals or had a vision of the things that they wanted to accomplish. And this can include physical, material items like houses, cars, money. But that's where the balance comes in, is where to know that those things are not the most important, that family is most important, your health is most important, creating a balance in your life, that baseball is not everything, guys. I hear people say it a lot, and even me, myself, I grew up, baseball was my entire life. But here's the kicker. One day, whether you make the Hall of Fame in the Major League Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, or you just go on and you play Division I and you're a successful college athlete, your playing days will come to an end. And I had a problem when my career ended because I didn't know who I was. I associated myself, or I identified myself as a baseball player, and that's all I was. But the problem with that is that I limited myself, right? Because now I'm not just a baseball player, I'm a coach, right? I'm a student, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a friend, I'm all these other things that are so much more meaningful than being a baseball player. So it's just kind of keeping things in perspective, guys, that there's far more important things than baseball, but it doesn't mean it can't be your passion, something that you just absolutely love to do and to get better at, and to have a career out of it. So that's setting goals, and then we will do that later. We'll go over. I'll send out a goal making worksheet that we can do together and kind of go over that. Communication. Communicate. So I know you guys are shy. You don't like asking questions, or you do, but you're hesitant to ask. Ask. Don't worry about what other people think about your questions, because more than likely they have the same questions. So do yourself a favor. If you ever have any question, whether or not you think it's stupid or not, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. Okay? So always ask questions. If you prevent yourself from asking a question, you prevent yourself from learning. And if you prevent yourself from learning, you prevent yourself from getting better. Self-talk. Okay, so self-talk is another one. We are constantly talking in our heads, right? We're constantly talking about, the strikeout, or it's like what you're doing before, what you did before the game, what you did after the game, whether it's going to rain, whatever, right? Our brains are constantly going all the time. We're constantly talking to ourselves in our head. But especially when things go bad. So this kind of goes back hand in hand with the negative being positive. It's how you talk to yourself after a strikeout. After a strikeout, do you say, man, I suck, and this and that, whatever, that guy, I can't hit that guy, or whatever? That kind of talk is not going to help you in your next at bat, right? So like I said, or let's say, for example, if you heard another one of your teammates, and he says it out loud, he says, man, I suck, and you were standing right next to him, what would you say? Actually, go ahead, respond. Jack, Eric, if I'm a hitter and I walked into the dugout and I'm holding my head down and I'm dragging my bat and I'm saying, man, I suck. I'm terrible. Like I should quit. What would you tell me? Go ahead and respond. What would you tell me? Any ideas? Keep your head up. You'll get them next time. Very good. What about you, Jack? Think positive, right? No, you don't. You just had a bad at bat or error, but next time you got it. Stay positive. Great. That's perfect. So here's the thing. Most of the time, and this doesn't mean you guys in particular, right? But many times, many players, they'll say that to another teammate that's feeling down. But then when they themselves have those very thoughts, right? Those negative thoughts, the self-doubt, right? Criticizing themselves, right? They don't say that to themselves. They don't tell themselves to stay positive. You'll get them next time, right? What can we do? What can we do to help us in the next at bat or the next inning out on defense, right? Or even on the next test. So let's say you're in school and you get a bad grade on your test. Maybe you skimped on the studying, right? And you didn't get the grade that you thought you were going to get. You can beat yourself up and maybe discourage yourself from studying harder on the next one, or you can find a way and say, you know what, I'm going to be positive. It's over. I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and I'm going to apply it to the next opportunity, right? So what you guys said there was absolutely perfect. But so self-talk is that kind of positive talk up here. So that if you don't have anyone next to you telling you that, you can do it for yourself. But you got to believe it. Believing it is number one, right? You can't just say all this stuff. You have to really, truly believe it, that you will overcome it and you will get them next time, okay? Visualization and mental imagery. So again, it's kind of in the realm of with the goals, having a vision of what you want, but this is more in the moment. Visualizing your swing, visualizing connecting on that perfect pitch, visualizing making that play in the field, whether it be a backhand or play up the middle, you make a little spin move and a throw, those types of things. If you play them in your head, you visualize yourself doing them, you will have greater success, greater chances of performing and executing those plays and those hits. So this is one that I've actually experienced myself, and it was something that I didn't do. I did it very well when it came to motivating myself. Let's say in the gym, I would picture myself running the bases after hitting a home run, or I'd be doing, whatever, striking out guys or whatever. But I didn't focus so much on, I didn't actually do it where I focused on individual specific movements. So like your swing, or throwing a baseball, or even running, visualizing can actually be as effective as performing it yourself. Okay, and I'll tell you why. I'll have to find it. There's a study that I read. I can't remember by who, but the point was they took two people. One person was going to perform an act, a physical act. So in this case, let's just pretend it's a baseball swing. So they take one person, they perform a baseball swing, and they have probes hooked up to their head that measure brain activity. The other person simply watches the other person, okay? And they also have probes attached to their head, and the machines, the computers, monitor the brain activity. Now, so you picture this, right? So you got one guy performing a swing, hooked up to the machine, recording brain activity. Another person just watching that person swinging, hooked up to the brain activity machine. What they found was very interesting. When the other person performed the swing, certain areas of their brain lit up, right? Was active. And it's certain parts of the brain that control your motor functions, control your physical movements, right? Your body. The other person that was watching, the same area of their brain lit up. I don't know about you guys, but I thought that was pretty crazy. So they showed the exact same brain activity in the person that was watching. Crazy, yeah, right, Jack? The same exact brain activity as if they were performing it themselves, simply from watching somebody else do it. So, what could we do with that? If that's the case, simply watching gives you the ability to maybe mimic somebody's movements. So if you are, if you want to get better in the field, let's say maybe your hands, you want to have smooth hands and you want to look like a major league infielder. Wow, right? Pretty cool. So you can actually, as you watch major leaguers, and the more you watch them, their movements, you become more capable of mimicking them and modeling their movements and their behavior just simply by watching. So take it a step further, you can visualize yourself, which would be even more effective because you're watching it through your own eyes in your own head. To visualize yourself fielding the ball, to visualize yourself getting that fastball right where you want it and knowing what to do with it, right? Say I'm going to drive it to the opposite center or opposite field gap. And this is funny enough, I've actually done this and it actually worked. Obviously it's not gonna, you're not gonna hit 1,000, but it has happened where I would imagine the pitch that I wanted before my at bat, and I would see it in my head, and I would see myself taking a good approach, a good swing, and driving it, let's say a pitch out over the plate, middle away, and I would drive it to the right center field gap. And it's happened a handful of times. I did this in my career, and I got that exact pitch at that exact at bat, and I did exactly what I was intending to do, exactly what I visualized doing. And I mean, it blew my mind, and I don't know why I didn't keep doing it more often. But being that you visualized it, also when it comes to like being a hitter, if you visualize the pitch that you want, it makes it a lot easier to lay off of the other pitches. And this is where major leaguers are very, very good at this. and why they're the best in the world. They are able to lay off of the pitches that they don't want. They are the pitches that they did not visualize themselves getting, so that when they do get that pitch, they're able to do exactly as they rehearsed in their mind. So of course, doing it in your mind is one thing, and of course we have to practice it physically also. But that's when practice, mind and body together can create these results on the field at a much higher rate. Even like I said, even if it's that 1 out of 20, even if you get those one hit out of that every 20 at bats, it's 50 points on your batting average. If it worked 1 out of 20, heck, let's take it, right? Let's use it. So pretty cool stuff. Let's see. So there was something else I wanted to talk to you about that too, on the imagery and the visualization. What was I gonna say about it? Do you guys have any questions or comments on that? I'll have to look up the, see if I can find that article or that study and see if I can share it with you guys. Interesting, right? Yep. So anyways, all right, so on to the next one. So visualization is a really cool, is a really cool one, and I think it's very powerful, and so it's something that we'll definitely talk about, especially like when you get into, if we get into talking about our what to do like in the on deck circle, or even in the hole, or when you're 3, 4, or maybe you're like 4 or 5 guys away from getting an at bat. How you can prepare yourself for that at bat using visualization. So next, after visualization, moving on, is managing your emotions. So this was the one, man. This is the kicker. This is the thing that I needed the most work on. And the biggest thing that can help when it comes to managing emotions is to believe that you can control your emotions. I used to believe that I could not control my emotions, and it was a problem. Coaches would tell me, other people would tell me that, hey, if you want to go far, you need to learn how to control your emotions. People thought I had a bad attitude. I used to make excuses why I didn't. They didn't understand me. I'm just very passionate. I'm just, very competitive, whatever. Every excuse I could make. Come to find out now, they were absolutely right. I had a bad attitude, but I didn't accept it and I didn't own it. Therefore, I wasn't able to change it during my playing career when I was in my prime. I wasn't able to control or manage my emotions because I did not believe that I could, right? So first of all, the first step is believing that you can control yourself. And you guys are all good kids. I don't think you guys really are going to have too much a problem with this, but times do get harder. There will be times, maybe you're okay, you can manage your emotions when you're 0 for 1, 0 for 2. But the higher levels you go, the more chance there's going to be for you to go 0 for 10, 0 for 12, 0 for 15, maybe even 0 for 20, right? How do you manage your emotions then, right? And especially if you have personal issues. Personal issues outside of the field can can surface on the field. So managing your emotions on the baseball field is just the tip of the iceberg. But essentially for emotions, what I discovered is that there's a formula for it. Usually it's what you think, right? So the things that we think about can create a feeling. So if I think about, I make an error in the field, or let's say, or I strike out at bat, like we were talking about earlier, if I think that I'm not good and that I can't compete at this level, or that I shouldn't be playing, or that I should quit, that's going to create a feeling that is not a very good feeling. It's a very negative feeling, right? And those feelings can turn to emotions, and therefore can be acted out on the field, whether they're acted out in throwing helmets or bats or simply internalizing it. It's still hurting you, whether you show it on the outside or not. So again, managing emotions kind of goes hand in hand with thinking positive in the moment, right? And we'll talk about all of these more and more over the course of our time together. So I'm just kind of giving you a brief overview of each. And then maintaining focus and concentration. Again, there's little techniques that you can do that we can talk about where one famous mental skills coach, a sports psychologist, taught Evan Longoria how to, when he was feeling frustrated or any kind of negative, was getting a negative result, that he would look to the left field foul pole. So there could be 50,000 people screaming and yelling or booing him or cheering for him or whatever. But whatever was going on, he could look at that foul pole and focus on the foul pole. Because the foul pole, there's a foul pole at every stadium, and the foul pole never moves. So it's something permanent. And what they do is they associate a calm feeling with that foul pole. So he knows that every time he's feeling frustrated, every time he's feeling the game gets really fast, respond. Have you guys ever felt that where sometimes the game goes by slow and then sometimes it goes really fast? Have you ever experienced that? Let me know. Yep. What about you, Jack? So essentially what happens is you're losing focus, right? And the game, yeah, if I'm in a streak, it feels way fast, but slump feels slow. Exactly. So it's kind of your perception of time. So when you are, like you said, yeah, you're in a slump, it goes by slow. When you're, right? Is that what you said? In a slump, it goes by slow. In a hot streak, it goes by fast, right? So I say time flies when you're having fun, kind of thing. But anyway, so being able to find a focal point when the times get fast, or when they get fast in a negative way where it's kind of coming down on you real quick and the pressure is building, you're able to look to the foul pole. For example, with Evan Longoria, you can look to the foul pole, focus on it, take deep breaths in and out, and calm your nerves. So it's an incredible, it's so simple, these things, but like I said, it's all in the mind. It's all about taking all of the external pressure away from the situation and knowing that, hey, it's just a baseball game, right? What's the worst that can happen? You get out, big deal. Like, I wish I had more at bats when I'm doing good, and when I'm in a slump, I don't want to bat again. Exactly. So those thoughts, and that's perfect, because I mean I experienced that so many times over my career where it's like I just wanted the game to be over. There were games I struck out 4 times in pro ball, 4 times. So I struck out like an average of like once a game, but I was a big home run hitter, so it was okay, right? But every now and then I'd face some good pitching, and I would just I'd strike out my first at bat, and then beat myself up about that. Before you know it, I've struck out twice, and now it's like, oh no, I don't want to strike out 3 times. That's the hat trick. And then sure enough, boom, 3 times. And then I'm thinking about, I don't want to strike out 4 times. That's what is that, a golden sombrero? I don't want to do that. Sure enough, 4 times. So the problem is that I kept thinking about each previous at bat. So what I thought about came to be. So the exact thing I was trying to avoid was exactly what I got. And that is because that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was visualizing. Even though I wasn't visualizing it on purpose, I visualized over and over again my first strikeout, my first 2 strikeouts, my first 3 strikeouts, until it ultimately led me to my 4th strikeout. Rather than thinking, pick out a good pitch, visualize the pitch that you want, visualize the good swing on that pitch, and hitting something hard back up the middle, and simplifying it. Because then I could very easily go to the next game and go 2 for 4 with no strikeouts. You know, maybe even 3 for 4. I don't know if I did that, but anything can happen from one game to the next. Okay, so that was like focus and concentration, right? And not dwelling on the past, being able to overcome those like negative thoughts, and moving on from the previous. Another one is body language. So let's see. Tell me, based on my body language, what is your guess on what I'm feeling if I'm like this? What do you think I'm feeling? You're probably laughing at me right now too. What is he doing? Upset. Okay, right. Yeah, upset. I'm down. I'm just, yeah, upset, right? Just my shoulders, right? Jack. So you see, like, my shoulders are down, right? I made a frowny face. I'm looking down. Now, you maybe don't realize it, but you guys just read body language. That means you can understand body language. So what do I feel if I'm like this? How do I feel? While you're laughing at me again, what do you think I'm feeling, or what do I look like? Proud, happy, right? Great, exactly. Eric. So you guys just read my body language. You understand body language. You don't never thought about it that way, but you can read body language. That means everyone else can read yours, right? So if you have a bad at bat and you walk away from the plate, or say you strike out and you walk away with your shoulders down, you walk away, you're kind of, dang it, whatever. Some guys hit themselves in the helmet, or take the helmet and they slam it, or slam the bat, or drag the bat, some guys. And you're the pitcher. What are you going to think when you see that? What are you going to think? Tell me. Even if I know, Jack, you don't pitch, or at least I don't think you pitch. What do you see if you saw that from a hitter that you just struck out? Or how would you feel? How would it make you feel about facing him the next time? You're in his head, I can get him again. Exactly. I'm going to strike you out with my ace. Exactly, right? So your confidence going into that next time you face him is going to be that much greater because you read his body language. You saw he was defeated. Now, what happens if the same guy, you strike out a guy again, and he walks away confident, and he walks away standing tall. Maybe he even looks at you. Maybe he even looks at you and smiles. What are you going to think? And he's walking proud. He doesn't look worried. He's walking real confident after he just struck out. What are you going to think? And he's got a smile on his face. He's going yard. Yes, exactly. Right. So this is the mental game, guys. This is incredibly important in everywhere, in the classroom, let's say in the future, if you get a job, if you have to get a job in high school, and how you carry yourself physically with your body actually makes a big difference because people can read it. So exactly. You see a guy going back confident. Now, most players might not think twice about it, but deep down in your subconscious, you will remember that he walked away very, very confident, almost like he knows something that you don't. Therefore, he may think he's got something on you for the next at bat. Now, who is in whose head, right? So anyways, I think it's pretty cool stuff, right, when you think about it this way. And you begin to realize that, wow, like, this is really important. He's in mine, exactly, Eric. And so this is the type of things that we will talk about for you guys to implement, is how you can flip it on them, right? So a pitcher, if you're a hitter, pitcher is always an advantage because he's on the mound. Even if you are a great hitter and you're hitting 400 out of 10, he's still getting you out 6 or 7 times. Just by being a hitter and a pitcher, the pitcher is in an advantage. Okay, so any advantage that you can get to flip it back on the pitcher, we want that. We want to take that because, like I said, 1 out of every 20. We will do whatever we can get to get that 1 extra hit out of every 20 is going to make a 50-point difference on your batting average. And we'll take it any way that we can get it, right? So that's very cool too. I'm a big fan of like the body language. It was another thing I wasn't very good at because I would let everybody into my head. So anyways, that's a pretty cool one. But so that's about it. That's about it for the mental skills. There's definitely many more. And I will, as I learn them and go and learn more about them, like we're gonna talk about them, and I'll implement them into our like in-person workouts. But I think it's really, really cool stuff, and I think it can help you guys tremendously, giving you a huge advantage over your teammates and your competitor, your opponents, right? Of course, share these with your teammates. Like, we don't just want to limit these to just for you, right? If you can help your teammates with this stuff, then they can be more successful. If the team is more successful, you are more successful, and vice versa. So it's pretty cool stuff. The other thing with all of this, these are all things that we can control. That's the beauty of it. These are things that we can control. And the more we focus on the things that we can control, the more influence we will have on the things that we can't. So I'll say that again. The more we focus on what we can control, the more influence we will have over what we cannot control. Therefore, when we do the things that we can control, we can get the results that we want more often. And that is what baseball is about, to be able to play this game for a long time and to be successful in it. And in school also, it's huge, right? Focusing on what you can control. So controlling the controllables, I like to say. But so anyways, again, these are just going to be things that I'm going to throw at you during our workouts and stuff. And this way, you guys are kind of you get to hear from me from this method through the YouTube lives. So do you guys have any questions or comments or anything about this stuff? Let me know, and then we'll wrap it up. We already went an hour. Cool, Jack. Good, man. I'm glad you liked it. So you guys probably like the idea of having like a theme for the lives. Thank you, Coach. Great talk. You helped me understand a lot. Right on, Eric. Yeah, man, we're just getting started. We are just getting started. I told you, you guys are gonna be on a whole other level. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, so I can focus on what we need to learn. Yep. For a theme. Yep. Yeah, I think it's the best way to go. Do you guys think an hour is too long? Is an hour too long? I mean, I guess you guys are still here. It's not too bad. Like, do you think we need to keep it shorter to like 30, 40 minutes, or? I can talk a lot. I'm all good. Jack, you're good. Obviously, it depends on scheduling. If guys have nothing to do, but I would have never thought that you guys would have wanted to on Friday night. Whatever it takes for you to help us. Right on, Jack. You're hungry, dude. You're hungry. Both of you guys are. Hungry for greatness. Let's see. So let's see. We're gonna shoot for. I'm all good. And sorry, my phone keeps closing out. No worries, Eric. So like, anyways, if not that you need to necessarily, you guys were here, but the other guys that missed this, they can watch it back on playback, and I'm gonna post that link in your guys' account on your website or on my website. Technically, it's your website too. But so, anyways, here actually. No, forget that. So, anyways, you guys got any plans for the weekend? Doing anything fun? Or I know, Eric, you're going to Disneyland. That's pretty cool, man. That's fun. Disneyland's fun. It's crazy. A lot of people, but it's fun. Let's see. And I think going to baseball on Sunday, going to motocross tomorrow. Right on, Jack. Yeah, I haven't been there in years. Nice, Eric. Yeah, that'll be fun, man. I hope you have a great time. Like I said, no worries about, yeah, see Mickey. You have to get a picture for us with Mickey. Let's see, let's go to the website. So I'm gonna post this link in there if you need to look back to it for any reason at all, but or you can just ask me any questions. Like I said, take advantage, guys. Like, you can text me the number that you have for me at any time. You have any questions about anything, the training, the gym stuff, the nutrition, the mindset stuff, please let me know. I would, especially like if it's a really good question, I want to start making videos where I just simply answer each individual question in a video like this, and then I post it onto the site. So what that would create is like a page for like frequently asked questions, common questions that you guys come up with. So please just don't be afraid. Remember, if you hold back on questions, then I cannot help you, or anybody can help you, right? They can't help you if you don't ask. But anyways, you guys have a good weekend. We're gonna try and I'm gonna stay in touch with you, but I think we're gonna shoot for maybe like 9:30 or 10. Is that too early? I guess that would be just for Jack. I know Eric, he won't be there. Jack is 9:30 or 10. Let's see, maybe 9:30. Just trying to. That'll be good. 9:30. Okay. I'll shoot out a group text and to confirm that. All right, guys. Cool. Who's three? Who's the third person? Somebody else joined in. I'm not sure who it is. Who's there? Who is it? I can't see. How do I see who joins in? I don't even know. Don't forget, you guys can give this video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. All right, thank you, Coach, for all the great tips. No problem, dude. Right on, Eric. Have a good time. We'll talk to you soon, for sure, next weekend, or I'll let you know on the next YouTube Live. I don't know who that third person is, but yeah, same as Eric. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Jack. Have a good Saturday. I will be in touch about Sunday. All right, guys? Cool.